햇살이 눈부신 건 정말 성가셔. 제대로 붙일 수가 없잖아.
여긴 어렸을 때 아버지와 몇 번 와봤는데 어른이 돼선 뜸했었어. 너희 입맛에 맞을지 모르겠네.
괜찮아. 이런데 밥 먹으러 오는 건 오랜만이라 기대되는걸.
여긴 어렸을 때 아버지와 몇 번 와봤는데 어른이 돼선 뜸했었어. 너희
괜찮아. 이런데 밥 먹으러 오는 건 오랜만이라.
그럼 주문하고 올게. 잠깐 기다리고 있어.
맛있어 보여. 폰타인 사람들 좀 먹을 줄 아는구나.
그렇지. 빨리 먹어봐. 맛있으면 다음에 가시장미회에서 이곳을 통째로 예약할게.
맛 없으면?
그래도 해야지. 대신 녀석들한테 테이블당 음식 하나만 시키라고 할 거야.
그거 참 좋은 생각이네. 그나저나 송별 회식이라곤 했지만 축하연으로 봐도 되지 않아? 우리
오, 일리 있어. 정말 축하할 일이지. 사장님, 주문 더 할게요.
그렇다고 더 시키란 건 아니었는데. 그나저나 오늘 사건 이후로 소녀 연쇄 실종 사건의 진짜 범인이 금방 잡힐 수 있을까?
그냥 큰 진전이 있는 정도라 할 수 있겠지. 소녀들을 용해하는 조직이 있다는 건 알아냈지만 그 목적은 아직 모르니까.
직접 보지 않았다면 사람이 물이 된다는 걸 믿지 못했을 거야.
그런 황당한 요소 때문에 소녀 연쇄 실종 사건 조사가 오랫동안 제자리 걸음이었던 거야.
정말이지. 마지막에 그 녀석이 말만 끝까지 했어도 거의 다 왔었는데.
이런 사건은 조금 진전이 있어도 단서가 끊기는 순간 다시 바닥이 보이지 않는 깊은 구덩이에 빠지게 돼. 솔직히 난 공식 수사에 큰 기대는 안 하고 있어. 그들의 능력을 의심하는 게 아니라 때론 다른 시각이 필요한 법이거든. 획일적 시각에서만 보면 의도적으로 감춰진 정보를 못 보기 마련이지. 그럴 때 시각을 바꾸면 답이 보이기도 해. 그게 바로 우리 가시장미회가 존재하는 이유야. 높은 곳에 계신 분들이 모든 걸 살피진 못하니까 사각지대에 붙어있는 은밀한 것들은 우리가 맡아서 처리하지.
내가 너무 쉽게 생각한 모양이야.
자자, 송별 회식인 만큼 이런 지루한 얘기엔 별로 관심 없겠지? 다른 얘기나 하자. 예를 들면 앞으로 너희의 계획은 뭐야?
그러게. 심판이 끝난 후에도 못 물어봤어. 아무래도 그때
물의 신과 대화를 나누는 게 목적이었는데 그럴 기회가 없었구나. 프리나님을 만나려면 줄을 엄청 서야 한다고 들었어. 오늘 있던 기회를 놓쳤으니 한참은 더 기다려야 할걸?
물의 신은 폰타인에서 인기가 많아서 말도 붙이기 어렵더라고.
획기적인 방법이 필요할 것 같은데? 비공식적인 루트라던가.
역시 가시장미회의 보스야. 꼼수가 가득하네.
예를 들어 오페라 하우스의 공연팀에 들어가서 무대가 최고조에 달했을 때 출연을 거부하고 프리나님과 만나게 해달라고 요구하는 거지. 한창 흥이 올라있는 프리나님은 공연을 끝까지 보기 위해 어떤 부탁이든 들어줄걸?
좀 더 현실적인 방법은 없을까? 공연까지 배워야 한다니 가성비가 너무 떨어지잖아.
그럼 프리나님 침대 밑에 숨어서 밤까지 기다리다 그분을 깨우는 건? 정보를 알려줄 때까지 절대 못 자게 하는 거지. 이건 확실히 먹힐걸? 난 졸음이 쏟아질 때 그런 일을 겪으면 잠들기 위해 뭐든 할 거야.
중요한 건 그게 아니잖아. 그런 상황이라면 분명 바로 체포될 거라고.
그것도 그렇네. 졸음을 이용할 생각만 하느라 그 점을 놓쳤어. 알았어. 농담은 그만할게. 이건 어때? 프리나님이 쉬시는 틈을 타 대기열에 끼어드는 정도는 가능할 거야. 게다가 넌 오늘 법정에서 프리나님을 패배시키고 그분의 백성을 구했잖아? 오히려 누명을 씌울 뻔했으니 자책하고 있을지도 몰라.
일리가 있어. 한마디로 휴식 시간에 찾아가면 우릴 쫓아내진 않을 거란 말이지. 말 나온 김에 밥 다 먹고 바로 가보자.
페이몬, 내 폰탄 네가 마셨어?
이거 네 거였어? 미안. 내 쪽에 가까이 있어서 몰랐네. 한 잔 더 시킬까?
괜찮아. 식사도 거의 끝났으니 안 시켜도 될 것 같아.
사실 별로 추천하고 싶진 않아. 짜고 맛도 없거든.
그래? 앞으로 이 집 폰탄은 시키지 말아야겠네. 다 먹었어? 이만 계산할까 하는데.
완전 배불러. 잘 먹. 우와, 배부르다. 이러다 추락할 것 같아. 벌써 손가락 반 개만큼 낮게 날고 있는.
이번 달 남은 조직 활동비가...
나비야, 거기서 뭐해?
아무것도 아니야. 한 끼 식사 정도야. 우리 가시장미회엔 푼돈이지. 아휴.
우린 한 번 더 물의 신을 만나러 가볼게. 그럼 안녕, 나비야.
결국 헤어지는구나. 폰타인에서 곤란한 일을 겪게 되면 언제든지 가시 장미회를 찾아줘. 최우선으로 처리해줄게. 그럼 행운을 빌어. 또 보자, 파트너.
나중에 봐.
바다의 자체 정화 기능에만 의존해서는 안 돼.
急がなくてもいいのよ。
あんまり人がいないな。さっきのエリニュス島行きの純粋船が最終便だったのか？バシ回り回ってまたここに戻ってきたな。どうしたんだ旅人。まさかおいバシおい、なんで先に進むんだよ。もし泉に何か良くないもんでもいたら。ちょっと待った。旅人、止まれって。おい、しっかりしろ。バシまさか。いいえ、あなたは違うわね。バシェのことを私、記憶は激流に飲まれ、無数のかけらが水の流れに溶けてしまったかの。地上で過ごしていた日々はどれも大切な思い出だったわ。人間、そう、私は人間。どうしてこうなったのかはわからない。おぼろげに覚えてるのは青とピンクが混ざった色。それと様々。どこへ行ってもバシェはそばにいてくれた。彼がどれだけ。でも今はもうあの頃には戻り。いいえ、そうじゃないわ。私の思いはもうあの人にとって無意味なものなの。だからもしバシェに会ったらこう伝えてちょうだい。絶対に私のことを探さないで。もう前へ進むべきだと。そうかもしれないわね。水に包まれて意識を失いそうになった時、水面越しにバシェの顔を見たの。その目は普通と愛惜に満ちていたわ。あの時慰めてあげられたらよかったのに。少なくともその瞬間は苦しみを忘れ、むしろあれは溶けたと言うべきなのかしら。 私にはある意味解放のように感じられたわ。恐怖もストレスもなく、あるのはただないだ水面のように無限に広がる乾きに慣れた人間が初めて水を飲んだかのように、自分がかつて無限の欲望と焦燥の中を生きていたと気づいたかのように。仲間が呼んでるようね。もうそろそろ行った方。さようなら。感じてくれて嬉しかったわ。どうか忘れな。
おい、いつまで寝てる気だ。ナビアたちがやられるぞ。
お嬢様。
こんなに警備ロボを雇うなんて。あ、クロリンデ。さあ、今だよ。クロリンデ、助けてくれたお礼を言うべきかしら。でもその前に、どうしてここに現れたのか説明してくれる？
私はただあなたが近々危険な目に遭うかもしれないと思ってついてきただけだ。
私に黙って後をつけてたってこと？それを普通尾行って呼ぶんだけど。
これはカーレスさんの意志だ。あの人を裏切ることはできない。故に私はあなたを危険から守る。もしあの人がまだ生きていればきっとこうしてただろうからな。
あんたがパパのことを語らないで。
すみませんお嬢様、私の力が及ばぬばかりに。
クロリンデ様、助けていただいたことには感謝を。
すまない。私はあなたの気持ちを考えていなかった。
もういいから。 それで他に何を知ってるの？どうして私が危ないって思ったわけ？
私の知っている情報はあなたほど多くはないだろう。だが連続少女失踪事件の黒幕は強大な勢力を持っているはずだ。今日のことできっと狙われることになる。
あいつらは前々から私を狙ってたはずよ。むしろ今さら手を出してきたのが不思議なくらい。それでこの警備ロボたちは？これって出立艇の人にしか動かせないと思うけど。
先ほどよく見てみたところ、これらの警備ロボには番号がついていなかった。つまり出立艇が法を執行するのに使わす機械ではないということだ。おそらくどこぞの金持ちか権力者が不正な手段で手に入れたのだろう。紙幣としてその力を集めて保有していると思われる。
そう。とにかく今のスピナディロースらじゃ勝てない勢力ってことね。でしょ？
ああ。くれぐれも気を抜くな。無謀な行動は控えるようにしろ。
いずれにせよ私は引き続き調査するつもりよ。真実を白日のもとにさらす。これこそがパパの本当の意志だから。とにかく今日のところはありがとう、クロリンデ。ただ今度また何か気になることがあったら先に私に教えて。尾行されるのは好きじゃないから。
連中もそう立て続けに手出ししてこないだろう。私ももう後をつけたりはしない。では失礼するよ。
はいはい。今日一番のニュースね、それは。
お嬢様、クロリンデ様の気持ちに嘘偽りはないかと。彼女との関係性を見直すのもいいかもしれない。
私だって分かってる。けど仕方ないでしょ。だってあの人は。
やっと復活したな。お前が気絶してる間に。それにクロリンデっていう決闘代理人も手伝ってくれたんだ。
いいよ、そんなよそよそしいこと言わないで。それにさっきのが本当の送別会だなんて思ってないから。あんたとの食事はいつだって祝勝会にしたいしね。つまり私たちは今も相棒同士ってわけだから、お礼もいらない。
私がお嬢様のような懐の深さを持つ。
仮に私がお嬢様にこうも好意を示されたら。
あんたたちもう。
そういえばナビアはどうしてオイラたちが危険。
それについては全てパイモンのおかげね。
オイラのおかげ？オイラいつの間にか役に立ってたのか。オイラ。
あんたが間違って私の飲み物を飲んだからよ。あんたたちと別れた後、フォンテーヌ邸にあるスピナディロースらの拠点に一人帰る途中でふと思い出したの。あんたこう言ってたでしょ。なんか味がしょっぱかったし全然美味しくなかったよなって。フォンタは甘い飲み物のはず。しょっぱいわけがない。しかもあれは色も少し妙だった。
つまりフォンタ。
そうだから、あんたがその飲み物を飲んでくれてなかったら私は今頃。
ボスを助けてくださったあなたたちにスピナディロースラは最高の栄誉勲章を授ける準備をしております。
そんなのがあるのか。
ホテルデュボールに手がかりがないか人を送って調べさせたけど、連中は何の痕跡も残してなかった。だからあんたたちにも危害が及ぶんじゃないかと思ってね。すぐにこいつらと来たってわけ。
あの連中、オイラたちまで消そうとしたってこと。
まあ連中からしたらあんたたちは自慢の計画を潰しただけでなく致命的な手がかりもつかむ寸前だったからね。ところであんたたち、 原始大会の水を飲んで何の異常もなかった？
そういえば旅人もさっき理由もなく、そうそう、それに今回はオイラもその声をちょっとだけ聞いたんだ。つまりさっきの状況は原始大会の水と関係してる？じゃあフォンテーヌ人以外が原始大会の水を飲んだら
悪いことじゃなさそうに聞こえるけど。
情報？気づ
教えてくれる？なるほど。バシェ、聞いたことのない名前ね。ここ最近証人として出廷したこともないと思う。でも少女の溶ける瞬間を彼が目撃してたのなら、少なくともそのバシェって人は事件現場にいたことになる。なのにその人は事件について何の情報も提供してない。私たちだって人間が原始大会の水に溶けるなんて知ったのは最近だし、もしかして彼は誰かに脅迫されてる？ サンキュー。今の状況から見てその情報はとても重要になるはず。それってつまりあんたたちも一緒に調査してくれるってこと？
送別会はしてないって言ってただろ。ならオイラたちはそれに巻き込まれた以上オイラたちに悪さをするやつらを旅人が放っておくわけないしな。
ナビアお嬢様、いくら嬉しくとも少しは表情をコントロールされた方がいい。
こら余計なこと言うんじゃないの。じゃあ一緒にフォンテーヌ邸の拠点に帰りましょう。宿の手配もするから。それと計画も練らないとね。相棒としてお互いの理解を深める必要もあるし。とりあえず一つずつやっていこっか。
安心してくれ。私たちがいれば拠点は絶対に安全だからな。
情報提供者から知らせがあったわ。どうやらまた新たな変数が現れたようね。この世を渡り歩くにはより多くの身分を持った方が便利なの。君にもいくつか作ってあげようか。情報提供者から知らせがあったわ。どうやらまた新たな変数が現れたようね。悪くない芽が出たわ。今日も引き続きサボりましょう。調子が良くなってから仕事を一気に終わらせるわよ。
考えとく。
追加料金が必要です。
この世を渡り歩くにはより多くの身分を持った方が便利なの。君にもいくつか作ってあげようか。
考えとく。
追加料金が必要です。
情報提供者から知らせがあったわ。
考えとく。
どうやらまた新たな変数が現れたようね。
追加料金が必要です。追加料金が必
この先なんだけど、その前に尾行してる奴がいないか確認しとき。
ずっと周囲に目を配っていましたのでご安心を。この道中。
そうならよかった。でも油断は禁物だからね。
では私は
ありがとうマルシラック。さあ旅人、私たちも行きましょう。
Take it easy.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?
With all my strength! Grow!
So, this is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people, that does sound like it's worth it.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago. I'm afraid I'm not quite his equal.
Your father... he was the previous boss of Spina di Rosula, right?
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me...
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful in the streets. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, but rumor has it that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender, determined to die in the arena. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? If anything, he gave up his chance to defend himself. The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so...
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Demoiselle, please. If there is...
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took, even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, and...
Wait! If Callus was such a good man...
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's...
Oh! Her? Well, then... isn't that as good as... Yeah... That's not the sort of...
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice she could have made.
It's not that I don't understand her at all, but I just can't deal with this yet.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows...
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she... Yes, that is our
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right. Anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was just complaining towards the end. Thanks. You two should go and rest. This was quite a day after all.
Yeah!
Please, relax and get some sleep.
Paimon, huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off, but never mind that. When did you—
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait!
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't—
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vache person is a key witness in the incident.
Does that—
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine that they would find almost impossible to threaten, no matter how much they wanted to. And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Oceanid you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some related information there.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we? Aren't you coming along, Navia? Did you get tired?
No, it's nothing. Let's go see the Honorable Chief Justice.
But my research had failed.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again. it easy.
The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
Weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you? Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it. Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?
Welcome to Palais Mermonia. Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?
Rest and rebuild!
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times. I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
To survive hardship, you must prepare for hardship. The weather's nice like this tomorrow. Let's move out.
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times. I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again.
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times. I have to keep an eye
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
The weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the
I have to
situation
keep
has
an eye on the
changed
deployment
again.
of guards at all times.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well. I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
I have to keep an eye on
Navigating the world is a
deployment of
whole
guards
lot
at all
easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you?
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
I hope the weather's nice like this tomorrow as well.
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards at all times.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalet's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to. Our rules make no exceptions.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Hyman can tell. If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Ah, thanks.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again. Take it easy.
Please come in.
Take it easy.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only lied to get in because we didn't know any other way.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait.
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true meaning of regret.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also raining.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? And then got washed away with the rain? Yeah! And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad!
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I not connect the dots earlier? All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress!
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great, let's go then.
This blinding sunlight is such a pain. No way I can get a nap in this weather. Take it easy.
Here! This way, Turtle. Hold the line!
Treasure. That's one way to draw your target out of hiding.
Time for afternoon tea. The scent of treasure.
Surprise!
wasted.
Allow me! Row!
Game's up. Fun's over. Gotcha.
Tea is ready? Now it's time for a short rest.
no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in the sewers. But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself?
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home.
Exactly! But none of them believed me!
Time itself is a silence.
Uh-huh. Yep, you're right.
Seems Lenny is saying some strange things again. It's really worrying.
It's important to respect your guidance.
Over here!
I'm just saying.
Maloose, we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and you said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Malus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were...
Could you tell us a bit more about...
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus or control your emotions. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened, not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind...
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene.
Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes that Jacques used to disguise himself at the banquet. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards the truth.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson, there is no need to follow your father's path.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that, ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable.
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, Demoiselle...
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he... and the serial disappearances, 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve them. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some, but as long as you remained safe, if something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked, even though Boss has been...
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, Demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved... I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where Synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy's headquarters. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for decades. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside, nor what people we may be able to capture. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
case, what?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case.
That's true. Seems my father really had no choice. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've connected Synth with the disappearances case.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Maloose.
I am the butler, after all. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping...
Thank you for all of that, Maloose. Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to when I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed after several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, the first is Florent.
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew there's someone else like him too. Marcel.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. The boss helped it to grow in the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're...
So, they're like a sister organization?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are since Thierry is always in the know about our current activity.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard to believe.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience,
Of course. And thank you, Maloose. You've provided us with a lot of great information.
You're too kind. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could all...
Aw, thank you so much, Maloose. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
Who would have imagined that people could really turn into water? Here we go again, trying to crack an impossible case. All proof and no motive.